Hey y'all, it's Ashley, Fit Girl in Flight here. Whether you've already decided to make the plunge and make your own competition suit, or you're still thinking through your options, we want to provide a little bit of advice to hopefully make the entire process a lot easier, and show you how even a novice sewer can make their own competition bikini. The first thing when you go to make your own suit that you're going to have to do is choose a fabric, and the options can seem absolutely overwhelming. So here's the one thing you need to keep in mind when you pick a fabric, regardless of what color or style you go for, and that's how much stretch does it have. There are three different ways fabric can stretch. The first is a one-way stretch. That's something like your cotton t-shirt. It's going to have a little bit of give, but not a true stretch. And if you really pull on it and stretch it out, the fabric's not going to recover, which means it's not going to bounce back to its original shape. A big no-no anytime you're sewing anything that's supposed to be stretchy and cling in all the right places. So stay away from one-way stretch when making your competition bikini. The second choice you're going to have is two-way stretch. Two-way stretch is going to only stretch across one plane, so it's going to stretch in two directions. Here's an example of that I pulled when I was picking fabrics for my suit last year. When these silver colors, gunmetal colors, were really, really popular, especially for girls with dark hair. And since I dye mine darker on stage, I thought this color would look great. I found this fabric at a discount fabric store in Boston and was thrilled by the price, $3. Unfortunately, when I started testing the sample, I found it had pretty good stretch in one way, but no stretch the other. In fact, when I pull this way, it almost feels like it's starting to tear. And so you can see how when I pull this way, the fabric bounces back lightly. But when I pull the other way, it starts to kind of crinkle in the middle. And over time, I've actually seen fabrics like this with paint start to crack along the way that they don't stretch. This fabric is great if you're an expert sewer and can make sure the stretch always stays in the direction it really will stretch around your body. For someone like me, keeping up with which way should be up is a little bit harder, so I stay away from this fabric. It's also incredibly difficult to shape the bottoms when you do want to be able to pull them pretty tight and glue them to you. The last thing you want is to be losing that stretch. It's also risky for straps, so here's a sample I made in a two-way stretch. It does stretch a little bit, but there are places where it started to twist. And so what happens when I stretch that is I actually start to break stitches. I don't know about you, but the last thing I want in my competition suit is stitches to start to break. So what you should look for instead is a good four-way stretch fabric. That fabric, like this shattered glass fabric, is going to stretch horizontally and pop back into shape. And it's also going to stretch vertically and pop back into shape. What that means is no matter which way I turn this, I'm always going to get a great stretch in all four directions. Super easy for a novice sewer, and it's also going to be great for hugging your body in all the right places on stage. So our first tip, keep up with four-way stretch fabrics. I did pay about $15 a yard for this from Spandex House in New York versus the $3 a yard for a two-way stretch fabric. But to me, the extra $12 is completely worth it. You're already saving hundreds on your suit, so spending a few extra dollars for a quality yard of fabric will ensure you get a lot more life out of that suit that you're going to take a little bit of time constructing on your own. Thanks.